Good evening, everybody. Hello from London, England. How is everyone? Hello, Coach AF. Hello, AG. How are you? All doing good? We're waiting for Daniel Spatz to join us today. He's in California somewhere. I'll get him to tell us where. Hopefully, he'll be in very shortly. In case you're interested, the weather in England is surprisingly. And is Daniel Spatz there? He's trying. We're waiting for him. Surprisingly great here in England.
Hey, Clive.
Hey, Daniel. How you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Good. And you?
Good morning to you and good evening from England.
Yeah, exactly. How is everything over there? Is good? Better?
Yes, we're all okay. Yes, no major problem, Daniel, so far. Very grey day, rain in the air the last few days, back to normal English summer. But, you know, we're doing okay. How about you?
Oh, thanks, Clive. Here, working since May 16th.
Right, okay.
The courts were reopening back then, and it's been 2 weeks already. I mean, I would say I'm working 50% of my capacity right now, 50%.
Okay.
The alumni is coming back slowly.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I was that's in Los Angeles, right?
South of Los Angeles, Irvine.
South. Okay.
Yes. Our driving south from the Los Angeles airport.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we're in that region, and obviously now tennis is opening back up, and as you said, you've got about 50% capacity so far, that's a pretty good restart, right?
I think so. I mean, when going back to March, April, I was just optimistic, thinking and wishing coming back in July.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
It was earlier, so I can't complain.
No, that's right. It's been the same here. Obviously, we're a couple of weeks ahead of you, so we've had a bit more time to, get our clients back and get going again. But I don't know where you found this, Daniel, but the enthusiasm to get back on the tennis court from the people is unbelievable.
Exactly. Yeah, I can see the kids. Parents are. You have to warn them, you have to prepare them before, telling them don't pick up balls. Here, during the private lessons, Clive, the parents, I don't know if in your place, but they have the idea that if they don't pick up the balls quickly, the students is wasting time.
Oh, I see. They have that mentality, right? They want them to be as many ball
Go back, play,
Yeah,
so I said, slow down, calm down, come on. They need to rest, they need to relax.
Yeah, you can't kill them for a whole hour, Daniel. You can't kill them for an hour.
Exactly. So they don't really enjoy that. But anyways, thank you so much for having me today, Clive. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Thanks a lot.
Absolute pleasure as ever, Daniel, I must say. Just as a side note to what you just said, we make the parents pick the balls up. We give them the ball tube, but they don't touch the ball. They use the ball tube and pick the balls up themselves.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you... Here, I have the students bringing their own balls for serving. So you guys do the same?
Yeah, we have done, but that's kind of drifting away now.
Yeah.
People are washing their hands before they come. They're cleaning their hands right after the end. So everyone really knows what to do, So it's
exactly.
They're getting used to it. The people aren't silly. They work it out. And if that's what it takes to play, then that's what they're going to do. So that's really, really good, Daniel. Excellent. I'm really, excuse me, I've got to lose this. I'll just tell you.
Sure.
I had a few questions for you, Daniel, that I wrote down, and I just want to go back a little bit first of all, because if I'm correct, I think we first met on the bus going to the US Open from the hotel in New York. We sat next to each other. I think that was our first time we.
You mean the first
met.
time?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think not. No? Wasn't the PTR symposium?
Yeah, but I mean, we really got chatting on that bus.
Oh no! Exactly.
We sat there, and it's a short journey, but takes ages because it's New York, and we had a lot of time, and we
took hours to get to the place. You remember the tunnel, the big tunnel, and you get stuck there and traffic.
absolutely chaos. But you know, that gave us some good time to get to know each other a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm interested in, Daniel, just to go back a little bit, Daniel, where was your first coaching job? Where was that?
Oh, thank you for asking. Not many people are asking me that question. I mean, I love it. It was back in 1983 in Buenos Aires, private club.
Right.
Back then, when we used to have private clubs, because of the success of Villas, you know, Guillermo Villas.
Yeah.
We had so many private places open for teaching. People were eager to play tennis, to learn to play tennis in Argentina.
Yeah.
We went from probably 30,000 people in the whole country playing to 3 million people, thanks to Villas.
Because Villas was the trailblazer.
Because of him, yes. He was the one. He was the idol, the first one, the mentor for everybody. We loved him. We followed him. Wherever he played, we were following him. News, were interested in tennis for the first time. Just football the whole time.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
But
tennis, he led the way for the subsequent generations of players from Argentina.
Absolutely, he led the way. Yes, absolutely. And then I started coaching, but I played before.
Right.
I was a normal club player, you know.
Yeah.
Solid player, but so many good ones ahead of me. So I was a little bit disappointed, but actually I was realistic about my skills.
Right.
That's
a good thing.
I'm not gonna make it. I mean, come on. I mean, no. That is Disneyland for me. You know, thinking I'm pro. No.
Yeah.
So I didn't have money actually either to travel or to. So I decided to start coaching, but always, Clive, looking for, you know, learn from the best.
Absolutely.
I was visiting clubs, watching the best teachers there, the 45, 50 years old back then. Taking notes, listening.
You sound like Jose. You sound like Jose Mourinho there. The way he did it, it's the same thing.
You see, I mean, I love those stories because I realized one thing. If I keep playing tennis, if I want to pursue the tennis career as a tennis player, I'm going to end up selling magazines or newspapers.
Exactly.
Right. So no way I'm going to make it as a player.
So you started in '83 at this club, and you obviously got going there, and you took all the usual students. You take when you start, you take whoever comes, don't you? And you build from the bottom.
Clive, no idea what I was teaching. No
Me
idea.
neither. Me neither. I remember my first lesson. I came back afterwards, said, "Oh my God, I don't know anything."
I thought, you know what I did? As I said before, I looked at the best, and I was reading a lot of tennis. There were 2 tennis magazines back then in Argentina. Tennis Tiebreak, and Todo Tennis, All Tennis. That's the name.
Right.
And I remember reading and the technical articles, and then going back to the court and repeating the same what the article said. You know. Tennis shoulders, racket back, follow through, whatever they said. And I started learning about Dennis van der Meer. Because Dennis, rest in peace, he was visiting Argentina in 1984, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I was watching him. But anyways, the year later, 1984, I met Leo Alonso in a private place.
Okay.
Leo was teaching there, like any other pro. He was, just a tennis pro, like a teaching pro. Young one, you're going to college in Argentina, playing cricket.
Yes, he did,
Yeah, so he was, so we were just getting to know each other, and then I was, it's a long career. It will take more than an hour.
It's a long career, of course it will, of course. But I just wanted to go back to the roots, Daniel, because that's the bit that I didn't really know from you. I mean, obviously I know a lot. What I didn't know is where it came from, which for my own interest was good. So that first job was there in '83, but subsequently, Daniel, you've worked in a lot of countries, haven't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Would you like to name a few for us?
My first trip was to Peru, originally I wanted to go to Colombia, but I took a bus, 6 days in a bus from Buenos Aires to Peru. 6 days.
Where did you go via? New
Because
York?
I didn't have money to take to buy a ticket for flying, you know, an airplane. So it was cheaper, much cheaper flying, going for a bus. And
6 days.
I arrived. I was 23 years old with one racket, one small tennis bag, a little resume, you know, a couple pages. And then I started in, you know, coaching. I spent 6 months, but then I went back to Argentina and I ended up working in Tandil, the city where, you know, Del Potro, many guys were, you know, coming out from that tennis school, that small city.
Yep, Tandil, yes. Yeah, I don't actually know where it is, but obviously I hear a lot about this place, obviously, because of Del Potro and whatever. But so you went to Peru, 6 days on a bus.
6 days, yes. But listen, Clive, I supposed to be following to Colombia 6 more days.
No, I got as a European guy, I think anyone who's listening from Europe cannot understand anyone going anywhere for 6 days on a bus.
I did it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Well, we always knew you were crazy, Daniel, but now we know for sure.
No, listen, yeah, and I have $150 in my pocket.
Yep.
So I have to survive. Somehow I have to start working, teaching.
Yep.
I started coaching a few days after I arrived in Lima. But one day I didn't have any more money left.
Of course,
maybe $20. So I have to sell some of my clothes to pay, you know, to be able to afford the hotels for a few more days. Yeah. And then suddenly I was able to have new students. They like, you know what they love? My energy.
Yeah, that's it.
The parents, Clive, like you have, the parents were caught in my, wow, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I was, you know, the court, hitting balls, you know, back and forth. Not really teaching, just training players, not teaching. I was training players. Hit the ball here, 2 cross, bravo.
Yeah, you're doing the hitting pro work, basically. But, I mean, in those days, that was easier.
The Peruvians love it because they saw my passion, my energy, commitment. I was always there on time.
Of course.
I was the first one.
You have to be on time. That's it for the coach.
And they started getting more students and getting more popular. But I decided to, as I said before, to return to Argentina. So
so how long were you in Peru for, Daniel?
The first time, 6 months. Yeah. 6 months.
6 months, okay. Yes. And then you went back to Argentina?
Yes, for 3 years. I went to this Raúl Pérez Roldán Academy in Buenos Aires, in Tandil. And then I returned to Peru for 8.5 years after that.
So that's a real career. You got time to do something there, haven't
you? This is when I developed Luis Horner.
Right. Okay.
Oh, there you go. And few others. 6 Davis Cup players and Federer Cup players from Peru. I said something to my friends, and I want to include you in that list, of course. I don't want to be promoted like a former developer of this and that.
No.
I mean, I'm sick and tired of names of players.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to get what you did and where you went, not who you work with. I want to know the Daniel Spatz story.
I love that. And nobody has ever asked me that question about where you started. No one. Thank you. Well, you no, seriously. Wonderful job. Thanks.
No problem. Anytime. So when you've done this, you went to 8.5 years in Peru, and that gave you a long...
Sorry, my wife is in, she's saying hi.
Oh, hello. Domestic director. We all have one of those. Greetings. So the 8.5 years is a long enough time to really develop something, and not just particular players, but your own style, the way you work it, you know, your routines, your strategies, and this sort of thing. You have enough time over that to develop, which is good. A lot of coaches don't stay long enough to actually get that done. So that's a great thing. So you went to Peru for 8.5 years, and yes, where did you go after that?
After that, okay, I decided. We talked to my wife. We sat down. I said, "Look, I felt a little bit tired, a little bit. I will say not bored, but I needed something
Did
new.
you did you need a fresh challenge?
Absolutely. I needed to
Right,
renew
okay.
myself.
Yeah.
So we have two ways. One is going back to Argentina, which is I didn't like it.
No.
And the other one is coming to the USA, United States.
Right.
And so I have a friend, Paul Forsyth, great coach at IMG now, before was MBTA, Bollettieri.
Right.
That, let me tell you this quick story. We met in 1992, 4 years before this decision to move out of Peru. And he took with the Bollettieri Academy a boy called Marat Safin. Marat Safin was 12.
Right.
And he ended up playing a final in a tournament in Peru against my student, Luis Horna.
Right.
And Luis Horna beat Marat Safin 6-3, 7-6. Marat, when I was interviewing, he remembers that. This is when I met Marat when he was a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Not many people knows that. So Paul, Marat's coach, said, who is coaching Luis Horna? Who is the guy coaching him? He's good. What a forehand.
Yeah.
And it was me, your friend, Daniel.
Of course. Yeah.
So he was attracted by that. And years later, he referred me to Bollettieri. He said, we need that guy in Bollettieri. He's from Argentina, working in my country, Peru, Polish Peruvian. And they hired me. I ended up, in Bollettieri 1986. After 8.5 years, wonderful years in Peru.
Okay, excellent. So that's really filling in quite a blank. Now tell me the other countries you've actually worked in. You went to Mexico, I know that.
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
there's
sir.
probably something between that, right?
Mexico was recently, I would say 2015, 2016.
Right. So what happened before Mexico?
Before Mexico was Miami, South Carolina.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much at Bradenton, where IMG is.
In the States, basically, for those.
Yeah, I developed about 10 different tennis academies and schools programs in different places, even for other people, I mean, they call me, say, Daniel, we're in Mexico, Querétaro. This is how it's called the city. It's beautiful city. I have so many friends. We left a lot of friends, great kids. I mean, but we're going back and forth. But anyway, so Mexico, Peru, Argentina, and USA, 4 countries. And in the USA, 4 different countries.
So where I'm driving...
Sorry, 4 different states, sorry.
States, okay. So what I'm driving at, Daniel, with this whole picture that I'm getting of where you've been and the places you've worked in, I was going to ask you, did you notice any different attitudes in the players from country to country?
Oh, wonderful question. Not only that, Clive, also when I was in IMG, you had Russians, Italians, English players, South American, Mexicans. I mean, from all over the world. You
had the whole melting pot. Yeah.
So it's beautiful how much you learn from those different cultures. It's amazing. If you ask me, my friend, Tierney, what do you think you enjoy the most over your career? Is learning from the different cultures, learning from the students, how to treat them, how to have a relationship with them, parents, different culture, different attitudes. Some more friendly than others. Others,
of course,
distance. They don't. How much is the lesson? Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Hey, Daniel, how are you?
I'm seeing a slight variation here, and this is what I'm going to try and get to. When you work at IMG, you have a multinational pot of players. They're from I've been there, I've seen it. They're from everywhere. But when you work in Peru or you work in Mexico, you don't have that, do you? You have more national players. So I was kind of more interested in if their culture had a bearing on the way they approach their training and practice. The reason I'm saying this is, at one stage I worked with quite a lot of the Nigerian guys, and they were in London, and they came to my club in London, and they come from a completely different background, to me and to most of the people I was training. But their work ethic was sensational, because they were looking at tennis as a way to improve their life and have a good life, you know, having come from Nigeria where maybe things were tough. So I was wondering, did you experience that in Peru and Mexico, places like this?
Yeah, basically I work in 3 countries with Spanish speaking language, Argentina,
Yep.
Peru, Mexico. It's a huge difference.
Really?
I tell, oh yeah. Now, you've been in Argentina, right?
Yep. Yep.
Have you ever been in Peru, Mexico? No.
I've been to Mexico, but
Okay.
only to the beach.
Ah, get out
So
of
it doesn't count, right? That doesn't
here.
count.
You're looking easy life.
I know. What can you say?
You deserve it. So, oh yeah, Argentinians are more driven.
Mm-hmm.
They fight. They are so competitive.
Uh-huh.
They will kill you for any silly little game they play.
Mm-hmm.
They want to win no matter what. You know, hand of God.
Yeah. I'm just about to cancel this chat now.
I'm against of that. No.
I know. I'm just messing.
I'm against. No, honestly. So Peruvians are incredibly nice.
Yep.
Friendly, super talented.
Yep.
I found so many kids with tremendous talent and natural hands to play tennis.
Mm-hmm. Right.
For instance, listen, Jaime Saga, as high as 19 in the world. I don't know if you remember him. What short guy, beautiful one-handed backhand.
Uh-huh.
He beat Sampras at the U.S. Open 1994, Clyde.
Pretty good win.
Pablo Araya,
Yep.
Laura Araya, Luis Horna. Hey, I can tell you a few more names that that small country has great tradition. And actually, Peru has a Wimbledon champion, Alejandro Olmedo.
Right.
Olmedo was Wimbledon champion, but he played for the USA. But he was Peruvian, man. He was Peruvian. Come on. Born in Peru. Yeah,
so the difference. Yeah. Sorry. The difference then, the basic difference for you between the Argentines and the Peruvians is the Argentines fight very, very hard for everything. And the Peruvians rely much more on natural skill and ability. Is that something that you would say is correct?
Yeah, what I took to Peru is our mentality, and I put it into the kids during training.
Okay. I bet they didn't know what hit them when they started like that, did they?
Oh, they call me, I tell you, I want to share with you, they call me Kaiser.
Kaiser Spatz.
Because you know what? Yeah. I never told you that. But
no, you never told me that.
No, but you know what? I took that sacrifice, fighting spirit, no complaints, no whining, no pain. You know, Rocky Balboa, no pain. Okay, no pain. I used to repeat that like Rocky. I love Rocky. No pain, no pain. You know. Yeah,
well, that's a great thing, and you implanted that into the Peruvians.
And they love it. They love it, and they started getting used to that. So we had players. Listen, quickly. My best victory, the biggest victory that I had was against Argentina, my country, South American 14 and under tournament. We were playing the 3rd place against Argentina, Peru, Argentina.
Wow.
We beat Argentina. I was the captain of Peru for the first time.
Wow.
For the first time. So,
how did that feel, Daniel? How did that feel when you beat your own country, huh?
I love it.
A win's a win, right?
I love it. No, let me tell you this. You're going to laugh. That was 1994, Clive, during the World Cup, USA Football World Cup. And that day, the same day that we beat Argentina, Argentina was drawn to play with Nigeria in the World Cup. And so after the tennis, I was wearing, my tennis Peruvian jacket. I had, I went to the locker room. I changed and I put the Argentina jersey.
And go watch the game.
Canija, he played. Anyways, but no, I was able to separate things. I was working and Peru was my home.
Yep, I
So,
see.
and I was coaching my players. So I don't care if it was Argentinians or Russians in front of me. We want to beat them. So
No, absolutely.
I was talking to them, the kids, the night before. You know, we had a meeting. Guys, we're gonna beat them. I know how they think. I know how they react. So be ready for the worst. I said, they're going to fight. They're going to come back. They're going to try, you know. So I was preparing them mentally for that. And we won. So it was the biggest by far victory in my life.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So how would you say the difference is then with the people in Mexico compared to the other two?
Mexicans are more passionate in terms of intense. They're very intense.
Okay.
But they have, I found it, the boys different than the girls.
Right.
In Argentina, both. Boys and girls are super competitive. Peru, similar. Mexico, the boys, they get upset too quickly.
Oh, I see.
Frustrated.
Oh, okay.
They put down themselves, you know, so fast. Girls are more positive, much more positive.
Wow.
So coachable. I mean, the Mexican girls, amazing. You can help them and they listen to you. But so I was working so hard in this boys, you know, mindset. They get frustrated. And what I found it, and I always tell that, I don't want to offend or anything that is not appropriate, but I think the coaches should be more positive there with the boys.
Right. So this is these are national traits that you've discovered in your travels.
I found they're very, very good coaches, but some of the coaches that I saw working with the top juniors boys were a little bit sarcastic, negative, you know, and I don't think that's the way to coach.
No, but in England, you can't survive without sarcasm, Daniel. You know.
No, you know what I mean. I saw you coaching, Clive. I saw you coaching, how much you encourage your players, how much energy you have in your lessons. And man, come on. I saw your brother, Johnny, coaching. Come on. You guys do an amazing job. And I can see the happiness of the students that you're seeing. I can see, I was there, man. Nobody can tell me. I was there watching.
I know. But that's great. Don't talk about me. We're talking about you, mate. We're talking about you. I'm interested in your stuff. So with all these fantastic experiences over the years from '83 going forwards, then you throw all that into the pot and develop your own philosophy on coaching. Share that with us. There's a lot of people joining here, Daniel. I'm suspecting the vast majority are South American and can't understand me, but there's a lot of people coming in. So share with us your philosophy on the coaching, if you would.
I love it. Number one, I think is from the first time the student come to the place, is the manners. Manners are to me very important. Manners. Hi, good morning. How are you? Very important. The first thing in my places, from the coaches, staff, players, manners, greeting, handshake. Oh, now it's not handshake for now.
We come up with something else because, you know, we do that. We touch the rackets. We do something, you know, we make a greeting. We have to, otherwise you're not connected. So this is the way. So the manners are the first thing. Okay, good.
Then is the content of the lesson, with always something to learn, always something to improve, always creating a nice, happy, energetic atmosphere. And I have to create it, not the student.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I'm totally, you know, I went to places. Recently also, I spent one more year in Peru. You don't know that. It was 2016, 2017, before going a few more months to IMG. And I had a beautiful, great staff with me, young Peruvian coaches, talented coaches. And they were complaining sometimes to me, Daniel, look at the students are lazy. They come to the lesson, you know, slow. I said, wait a minute. We have to wake them up. We have to create the energy. No, they're coming from school. I mean, they're tired. They spend 7 hours listening to the teachers, sitting in school, you know? And so, it's the way you give them the welcome. Hey, guys, how are you? Come on, let's go, guys. Come on. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, talking to them about the topic, the subject. I always want to present this a little introduction about what is going on today. What are we going to do today? Why we do it? Not just what to do, why we do it. What is the purpose?
Absolutely.
I think some coaches say, okay, rally cross court, but why? Even
Exactly.
Even that simple exercise requires, to me, a little bit of, introduction, explanation. Why you have to rally cross court.
Yeah, exactly. Explanation. Otherwise, it just becomes, like a walk. You just do the same stuff. I mean,
Exactly.
You do it for a reason. You do it for a reason. Absolutely. So, go ahead. I'm listening.
No. And then, so manners, purpose, learning something new. And I feel that I want to achieve 3 things, Clive, at the end of the lesson. But the students, they learned something, they did a good exercising, they moved, and they had fun. Yep. So learning, exercising, fun. If I could achieve those 3 things, I was a successful lesson. Otherwise, it was my fault. I did fail. I did something wrong.
And we've all done that in lessons, obviously. We've all done that. But I mean, as you get older, you do that less often because you figure those things out quite early. Exactly. So that's great with the junior development. And what about the game itself? How do you view teaching the game itself to the young players these days? How do you view that?
Thanks. Pretty much we share very similar philosophy, which is teaching the total game. On my lessons, I teach the forehand first, immediately backhand. So I don't wait 3 lessons to teach the backhand.
No.
Then as soon as I can, maybe second or third lesson, volleys. Look, volleys. And immediately serving. So as soon as I can, within the first 6 lessons, I want my young students to be able to learn doesn't mean they're going to do it right. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. But they experience all the different pieces, don't they? That's the key, and you can do that. And like you say, you get those basics in early. So at least they have some idea what's going to go on as they progress.
I teach hitting through the ball. I don't teach this thing, windshield wiper thing early. That ruins the player's swing, with those. I teach going through the ball, long follow through, good extension at contact, sideways. I teach sideways. I don't teach open stance early on.
No.
Thank you. So I teach sideways. I teach continental grips, I said the continental grip is the most important grip. You serve, you hit the 200 backhand, you hit the slice, the drop shot, the smash, the volley. Come on, man. You have it all.
That's it. I mean, some of us got taught only that grip. That's the big problem.
Clive, how in this world I hear coaches say the continental grip is an old school? They never play tennis. Sorry. No. I mean, they never play tennis if they say that.
No. Well, you don't have to look very far to the TV to watch the best players in the world making shots with that grip. So, it's right in front of you. And, if you don't have a good backhand slice in professional tennis in the men's, you're dead. You have to have that. But anyway, that's the pro players. I'm more concerned with, the developing the juniors, because obviously these days the game is much more rounded. The kids, amaze me with what they can do. Sometimes, I mean, they start doing things you think, where did you see that? And they've seen it on YouTube or somewhere on, and they just try it, and you're looking at the things going on. I actually think they're getting somewhere when they're doing things I haven't taught them. I think that's a good key.
Yeah.
They experiment and find themselves, but
exactly, agree.
And you need to look for those things, and when they turn up, you have to embrace those things because they're expressing themselves then. You give them the basis and then they join these little bits and pieces on and you have a more complete game. You may well be able to teach that those bits and pieces to be more efficient, but at least you can work on it.
Absolutely. And regarding, I didn't mention the forehand grip. I teach the Eastern forehand grip first,
Yep.
because
Yep.
this is my take. I'm not saying this is the way to do it. This is what
No,
I'm sharing with you what I do.
absolutely.
Right.
That's what we asked.
Why Eastern? Because if I teach semi-Western, and happens to me, the kids have the tendency to move even further to Western.
Yeah.
So, and that is, you know, is so challenging, so difficult to change later on.
Mm-hmm.
So by teaching the Eastern, even if they want to move a little bit, you know, to the right, further to the right, then we have probably a semi-Western, which is good.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is my take. It's just a personal thing. Maybe, as I said, someone comes to me and says, "No, I want to teach Western." Okay, go, man. It's your job. It's your business. I mean, let me do my job. I mean, I feel comfortable with that. So, I mean, it's
so
everybody has their own teaching book, you know.
And they should. They should have their own teaching book.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you sound to me then that you really focus early on getting the basics down.
Yes.
You know, gaining success with those basics, Eastern forehand grips, learning a continental grip, etc., etc., and then allow the expansion of the player and the techniques as you move through from there. Once you have a nice solid base.
Yeah, and regarding topspin, which is the $1 million question I get when I go to workshops. So you don't teach topspin? Yes, I do teach topspin. Mm-hmm. But that would come natural because you tell the student get low to high, and they start hitting topspin. You don't even need to teach a topspin. I mean, to me, I mean, it's kind of a natural thing. If you go through, I said, if you go through, it's going to be flatter. If you drop the racket, I mean, they do it. Kids are good. They understand. They understand.
They're sponges for information. They soak it up.
What I'm crazy, Clive, is about volleys. Mm-hmm. Because I love to watch good-looking volleys when I watch players.
Yeah, of course.
I grew up watching, you know, the Australians, then Sampras, Edberg, Pat Cash, Rafter. Oh, man, Hedman. Wow. And a good volleyer looks amazing always to me.
I can tell you one small story about the volleys. I was at Wimbledon one time and I was watching Patrick Rafter play. Mm. That's a volleyer right there. And then Dennis Vandermeer, who you mentioned earlier, was also there. And I saw him, said, "Dennis, I've just been watching Pat Rafter play." I said, "Volleys are amazing." And Dennis said, him and Edberg, they magnetized the ball to their strings. They look like they're in the wrong position completely, and before you know it, the ball's out the middle of the racket and it's gone. They have that. And of course, this is a bit of a dying art these days in the game, you know. Yeah. A great old friend of mine who sadly also has passed away, Peter Doohan, who you know, I'm sure, from, you know, our days. Peter was a fantastic volleyer. And I said to him one day, we were on a court, and I said, "Peter, how comes you're so good at low volleys?" And he said, "When you go on with Agassi, you don't get anything else."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So that was a funny guy. But
you better be good, right? The low volley.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's this high over the net. That's it. Yeah. So you have to be good at that stuff. But they're skills that are under-taught these days, I feel, the volleys. And of course, you know, this is something that will return, because you can't just keep producing, you know, robot machine tennis players.
No, exactly.
The touch is coming back. They will get better going forwards.
Yeah, and actually the power of the game will force makes sense that they hit the ball hard, hard.
Yep.
So therefore they get short balls too.
Yep.
So this is why not? Why don't go to the net and finish the point at the net, right?
Absolutely. And are you an advocate of teaching the girls that as well, Daniel, early on, the volleys?
When I started?
Yeah,
always. I don't know why, but I love it because I didn't have a good volley when I played.
Right.
Honestly, I spent hours and hours developing ground strokes. So, but I was watching the best volleyers back then. So John Alexander, Phil Dent. I mean, so many. But anyways, John McEnroe, of course. He went to Argentina a couple times. And I always was cut up for the volleyers, you know. I love, so I started teaching, you know, volleys more than, I mean, always, Clive. And my lessons, and sometimes I'm telling myself, come on, man, do something else. You're too much time at the net, you know. So
you sound like an Englishman.
yeah. So no, I tell you, I'm very proud to have a former Grand Slam champion. Luis Horna won the French Open in doubles.
Yep.
Then excellent. my son was a very good, both two of them very good doubles players in the USA than in college. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think doubles works. But they said if I think the drop shot, yes, I teach the whole game. Minute tennis, but not just pushing, just with a purpose.
No. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Service box touch, things like this. Yeah.
Greetings from Amsterdam. Look, we have people from Chile, Peru, Argentina. I want to say hi to everybody. Miami.
You should.
Mexico.
You should say. Yeah.
I love
Brilliant.
it. Thank you guys. Thank
you.
Now,
Daniel, we just got. I'd like to ask you one more thing, and this is a blatant plug from me. You know where this is going. You very kindly have agreed to become a part of the One More Ball website team. It's a very exclusive team, as you know. We were looking for the best coaches in their fields who could help us. So the idea from behind the One More Ball website was to share the knowledge and information that we have all around the world. We've all done international clinics and you speak to a few people, 200 people, whatever, 300. But there's 1 billion tennis fans in the world. So why shouldn't they be able to access the things that we know and can do when we have the technology to do it? So this was what One More Ball was about from my mind. Then I asked you and various other people who very kindly agreed to join. How do you see that particular venture, Daniel?
Oh, it's fantastic. I think sharing the expertise of some of the experts, you know, like Leo, Alex, your brother, yourself, and many others. It's amazing because everybody has their own input, and it's a very open-minded, you know, idea because you guys let us to express. You don't put any restrictions. You know, we know each other, so I think it's amazing. But just what I like is everything has proven results.
Yes,
not theories, you know, ideas, vague things. No. What Leo is saying, he did it with Meyer, with Balog. What I did, I did one on players. Alex with Rios. Come on, man. Not many websites in this world has that expertise, you know, like a blender putting all together, you know.
That was
great. So
that was the idea, to put all together a good team of enthusiastic, experienced people and put it out there so that anybody could access it without having to spend too much money. You know, we try to keep it as cheap as possible, but the idea with having you bring your experiences to the people, and the other guys too, and then we throw in mine, which is slightly different, and this, and we build a huge library of things that people can do over time, and hopefully get it out to as many people as possible. I mean, you know, you have a massive following on the web as well, built over many years. That's great. So the ethic of One More Ball is information sharing. That's what it's about. And exactly. You know, I think you're going to play a great part in that as we go forwards, Daniel. I'm very convinced.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful presentation. Colorful, nice, dynamic. When you open, boom, One More Ball, and it explodes. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Well, I mean, whoever created that is a genius.
Oh, you just told my brother he's a genius.
Hey, I said whoever did it.
Johnny, my brother, built the site completely.
Wonderful.
He made the whole thing. All the rest, obviously, we talked about the logos and all the rest of the stuff. So, you know, we need to we need to push on with that. And it's a great honour and a pleasure to have you involved on the team, my man. And I'm very much looking forward to doing much more with it.
You know what I like to do, Clive, to push
No,
it?
go ahead.
I want to share what I did with my followers. So some of the drills that I was sharing with you. So I think they will, you know, they will be attracted to that, I think.
Sure.
So that would be a good idea, you know, sharing on the social media.
Yeah.
We will do that. So
for sure. I'll look forward to that, Daniel. That will be wonderful.
Yeah, that
Absolutely
would be wonderful. Sure.
All right. Okay, Daniel. Look,
time flies. I mean, amazing.
45 minutes, my friend. We had a lot to talk about,
great.
but like, I hope it was very interesting for me. I hope it was a little different for you. One, to be that side, being interviewed, and talking about you, not talking about other people, you know?
Yeah, and people, you know, it's funny. Yesterday I was talking to an expert in biomechanics, Daria Kopchik. She's very famous in ITF, and she said at the beginning, listen, I'm going to ask you questions, pretending I'm a beginner. I don't know anything. She said, yes, you know. No, I don't know. I said, because, you know, I'm not the guy who, you know, when I'm running interviews, Clive, I'm debating with you. You know, no, I think I do that too. I do. No. I'm just, I'm just asking you questions, having a nice talk, putting you in contact with all the audience, connecting you with the audience. That's my job, not me. It's not about me. I mean,
no, I understand. So, this one is about you, Mr. Spatz. This one is about you.
so this is what you started. You did an amazing job, and you started really well, nailing with the first question about my beginnings. I love that.
Okay. All right. Well, Daniel, look, I'm going to stop there and let you get back to your work and your family. I thank you once again. Thank you very much, my friend. And we will speak soon. And we'll get together when everything calms down and we can all travel. We will no doubt meet up again sometime in the future.
Of course. Thank you, Clive. Hi to Johnny, if he's there somewhere, and Linda. Linda's okay. She's okay?
She's fine.
Okay. No, say hi from me and your students. They were wonderful. The parents, Toby, and everybody. So it was amazing. Thank you so much, Clive.
Pleasure. Thank you, Daniel.
And talk to you.
We'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.